honors read like a sports dream menu few people ever get close to achieving. He was a two-time NBA champion with the old Minneapolis Lakers. He led the 1944 University of Utah team to a basketball championship and was named Most Outstanding Player in that tournament. A four-time All-American, athletic director at the University of Utah, and he headed up the NCAA Basketball Selection Committee. He oversaw television network rights contracts worth billions of dollars. So we were excited and honored to sit down with Mr. ARNIE Ferrin.
What did you get out of the game of basketball? What do you take away from the game? All these great accomplishments and championships and accolades, and you can tell you love the game. Anytime you're around an arena, you're a bright light. What does the game do for you, ARNIE?
Sitting here with you today, having a chance to relive some of the memories that were important to me is what I get out of it. And I'm so surprised that it keeps continuing. You know, you would think it was 73 years ago that people would even remember what happened 73 years ago. So it's been unique, and I've been blessed to play with good players and have good coaches and have good opportunities to be successful.
Ute strike right back, moving with precision and superb passing. There's one to Ferrin, and he doesn't waste that shot.
In the well-documented run Ferrin and his teammates had in winning the NCAA and NIT titles, there are many stories. One is how the New York sports writers seemed surprised Utah players could even play basketball.
The finesse of their team play and the shooting of All-American ARNIE Ferrin. It's the seesawingest battle of the whole tournament.
Basketball was a big item in the state of Utah. And when we got to New York, we were so green, it was hard to believe how green we were, but one of the headlines on one of the papers said, "They play basketball in Utah," you know, and so it was kind of fun when we rode home with the trophy to say we play it pretty well, too.
These are the Minneapolis Lakers, champion basketeers.
As a professional, Ferrin had a shoe contract, 2 new pair of shoes a year. That was it. A deal with the Wheaties Breakfast Cereal Company, all the cereal the family could eat. His salary, just $500 a month. That required a second job, so Ferrin tried his hand at a few business ventures. He thought at the idea of sugarless gum. Wrigley's was just ahead of him. He and a business partner invested in theater on the road. They called it Midwest Attractions.
No, not that.
Signed 3 pretty darn good comedians, and they were selling out night after night. It was a hit.
Were these morons? Yeah, but we're organized. Amalgamated Association of Morons. Local 6 and 7/8.
First night we played, sold the house out. Next night we were in North Dakota. It was sold out. I was thinking about retiring. Then the second night it started to snow. And it snowed. And it snowed. And we had 2 weeks of sold-out houses.
All they had to do was get to the next town, but heavy snow had closed the roads. They could still fly out and keep the good times rolling.
He called the vaudevillians together and said, "Plane will be here in 2 hours. We're going to fly to the next town, so be ready to fly." 3 stooges from Hollywood said, "You didn't read a contract, we don't fly." So they stayed there for 4 or 5 days. I lost all the money.
Enchanted, enraptured, embalmed.
We're honored to introduce you to the University of Utah gymnastics team.
Hello, Mr. President.
There's one more thing you should know about ARNIE Ferrin. It's right there, on the wall. A photo from more than 3 decades ago in the White House with President Ronald Reagan.
The President Reagan thing was a highlight for me. And I kept seeing people going into the White House that won. And so I wrote a letter to a friend and said, "My women's gymnastics team has won 9 national championship. I think it would be appropriate if the president invited them to come and visit him in the White House."
This is Lisa McBag.
It happened. The University of Utah women's gymnastics team was invited to the White House. And in the background, right there, was a smiling ARNIE Ferrin.
And these are just, I went into National Aerobic Championship in 1995. I won nationals and then I won worlds. And I was the oldest woman to ever win, and that's what I pride myself on. I was 34, and I was a single mom, and that was the best part of that.
Elaine Alfano has a room full of honors, awards, and successes, and many gymnastics championships while at Utah. And yes, she was on that rare visit to the White House.
Looking back, when I was in my 20s, it didn't seem like a big deal. I was so naive and young, but as I'm older, I go, wow, you know, that's a pretty big deal.
Five times in a row. That really is something.
You know, we were a women's gymnastic team, and that never happened back then. And for us as women to have those accomplishments and be invited to the White House, to me now is huge.
As a player, Ferrin knew what it took to be a champion, and away from the game, he learned about the bigger game for all of us.
John Wooden, he's a good friend, and he came to Salt Lake to speak at a gathering at the students. I was so excited to go over and sit down and listen to him tell about how he won all of those championships and which games were most exciting. He didn't mention any of his teams. He talked about building character of people and the benefits of playing basketball, helping them get ready for the rest of their lives. And there's only one John Wooden, isn't there?
And there's only one ARNIE Ferrin, isn't there, who fondly shares the memory of the best time of his sports life.
9 players, living in school, walking on, going to the NCAA tournament and winning it probably is my favorite time.
A favorite time indeed in University of Utah sports history, a real Cinderella story in college basketball. Forever, a special moment on the American sports landscape.
I've had a blessed life, I really and truly have.